Jesuits all over the world have chosen Universal Apostolic Preferences, what we call UAP. And the Jesuits in Madurai province also have chosen priorities, apostolic priorities. We call Province Apostolic Priorities, PAP. I will let you explain how this UAP aligns with PAP, because this alignment is very important for Jesuits' life and mission. The Universal Apostolic Preferences are: 1. To show the way to God through the spiritual exercises and discernment. 2. To walk with the poor, the outcasts of the world, those whose dignity has been violated in the mission of reconciliation and justice. 3. To accompany young people in the creation of a hope-filled future. 4. To collaborate in the care of common home we call the earth. The Society of Jesus has chosen these preferences after a long discernment in common, a process of discernment in common, to arrive at these preferences, what we have today. Universal Apostolic Preferences, as Father General says, are a means for continuing to be guided by the Spirit. Universal Apostolic Preferences seek to deepen the process of personal, communal, and institutional conversion. They are not set of activities but orientations for our life and mission. Next 10 years, 2019 to 2029, Jesuits all over the world resolve to concentrate and concretize their apostolic energies on these preferences. Father General says, UAP seek to unleash a process of apostolic revitalization and creativity that makes the Jesuits better servants of reconciliation and justice. So in that sense, he says, God works in the world and Jesuits want to collaborate with God in his work of justice and reconciliation and peace. Therefore, collaboration is a key, a fundamental key that directs, guides every Jesuit in his life and mission. This is very, very important. And he says, Father General says, they are not something to do. Universal Apostolic Preferences are not something that we do, but it's an inspiration of how we do. Universal Apostolic Preferences provides a spiritual path. They are not static apostolic activities. They are simply orientations, not priorities that we specifically allot our time and energy, plan to do something. No, it is orientations. Preferences is an orientation, a signpost, a call. So preferences are not just about doing, but about being. They involve Jesuits' entire life. Therefore, another very important element of this Universal Apostolic Preferences that we don't discuss this, we don't synthesize this, or we don't analyze Universal Apostolic Preferences. Why? Because they are received from the Pope. As true Jesuits, rooted in the tradition and heritage, we look at the universal apostolic preferences given by the Pope, and we look at them as they are and follow them. And follow them and communicate them to others. Because you received it and communicate it. We have no discussion on that. So Jesuits are asked to assimilate this. So UAP, Universal Apostolic Preferences, includes 3 dimensions, as Father General says. 1, look at the local context where you live. For example, Madurai province, your context here is the marginalization of Dalits, Dalit Christians, migrants, refugees, and other marginalized. This is your context. Number 2, a strong message of apostolic priority, apostolic activity, to move, to change. Third dimension is, it's an orientation to an action, a call to evaluate our way of proceeding. These 3 dimensions are there in the universal apostolic preferences. See, these apostolic preferences must include these 3 dimensions. Guided by this orientation, Jesuits in Madurai province went through a step-by-step process of discernment in common at the individual level, at the community, at the zonal level, at the province, in the superiors, team leaders, coordinators forum, at the commissions level, at the province assembly and the consult, have come out with the vision, mission, and the apostolic priorities. We have chosen, guided by the universal apostolic preferences, 5 province apostolic priorities. 1, empowering the Dalits, especially Dalit Christians, tribals, refugees, migrants, and other marginalized and disadvantaged groups. 2, preserving and protecting the environment, safeguarding the rights of those affected by environmental degradation. 3, providing holistic and integral formation to youth to be agents of social transformation. 4, promoting justice, peace, reconciliation, and secular values in response to all forms of fundamentalism and casteism. 5, forming our men, Jesuits and others, to be rooted in Ignatian spirituality and be credible in life and mission. These apostolic priorities of Madurai province, in Madurai province, started the process, entire process, with a retreat in Shembak in Kodaikanal by Father John Dodis, the General Councillor who is in charge of apostolic planning and discernment. This retreat helped us look at our history, Madurai province history, in which we realized how God has led us in throughout this process, the graces we received, the ways in which God has led us, held us through the process, ups and downs, tensions and conflicts, and through the apostolic activities, God has led us to where we are today. We realized our past. More importantly, we have also realized through this retreat, one of the important graces that we have received is that we realized how we consistently worked for the poor and the marginalized, how we sided with the Dalits, Dalit Christians, all throughout this history of Madurai province. That preferential option, we have realized, guided and guides today, even today, our way of life and our way of doing our mission. Of course, with tensions, conflicts, arguments, but ultimately we have consistently focused on the empowering Dalits, Dalit Christians, migrants, refugees, and all other disadvantaged groups. So after this, Father Provincial formed a team to coordinate, guide this entire process in the province. The entire province went through a discernment in common by using the method of spiritual conversation. One very important method that helped everyone to go through a discernment for this entire process of province apostolic planning is the spiritual conversation, the method of spiritual conversation, which really led us all inward, looked at our inner motivations, movements, our intentions. That helped us to decide and put mission at the center of our life and our way of proceeding. Therefore, we came out with decisions after discernments which are reflecting the Spirit of God. We actually followed the 10-step process. 1. Examine conversion. 2. Gratitude. 3. Understanding the mission. 4. Research. 5. Evaluation. 6. Decision on apostolic priorities. 7. Specific goals. 8. Action plans. 9. Monitoring and evaluation system. And finally, communication. These 10 steps we followed in our province apostolic planning. These are priorities, not preferences, of Jesuits in Madurai province. Province apostolic priorities. If UAP, Universal Apostolic Preferences, are, as Father General says, are orientations, a signpost, a call, province apostolic priorities we have in Madurai province are apostolic actions. Guided by that orientation, the actions to be done. This is the point of alignment. Actions connecting with orientations, priorities with orientations. So, Universal Apostolic Preferences are orientations and province apostolic priorities are activities, apostolic activities that we need to focus. Jesuits of Madurai province, for their apostolic actions, focus on empowering Dalits, other marginalized, preserving and protecting the environment and safeguarding the rights of those affected by the environmental degradation, providing holistic integral formation to the youth, promoting justice, peace and reconciliation and secular values in response to fundamentalism and casteism, forming credible men, Jesuits rooted in Ignatian spirituality. As Father General says, Jesuits initiate process, don't occupy places. We initiate process and leave. And we also collaborate with others, network with others in the mission of reconciliation. This process, collaboration are vital to the next 5 to 10 years in our life and mission, focusing on the orientations given by Universal Apostolic Priorities, UAP, and the Province Apostolic Priorities, which would lead us to action with these priorities. We are invited to, by all this, invited to go through conversion at the individual level, at the community level, at the institution level. We need to go through a conversion. How do we go through? By the action of collaboration with others. So, conversion, collaboration are two wheels by which we will move forward in the years to come in our life and mission as Jesuits.